Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today I want to go over some of the recent Season 2 version 1.18 patch changes that they decided to make to Anji Mito. I just want to give a couple of tips and tricks on how you can use some of his new normals and how you can kind of take advantage of the universal changes that he made to everyone. And really I'm just kind of hoping to spread awareness and give people some advice so they can go out there and have as good of an experience as they could possibly have. And by the end of the video we'll talk about how I probably hope they can buff some of his moves. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is Anji's normals, right? And the new dash canceling system and all the things you can kind of do with that. So first things first, right? I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, and in between, I guess. So, you know, nothing really changed for Anji on block other than Fujin being a little bit better, but those aren't normals. This is still a high reward starter, a little bit faster on startup, so better. They made 5H a little bit more disjointed, so where you're seeing over there where the right side of the fan is actually not a hurt box anymore. That's all hitbox. So that's something you can kind of try to poke with. I don't know if it would be really good, but see, it's whiffing right there, and I can see it going through his clothes. But realistically, the new change to the dash cancel system is really where Anji shines this patch, and there's not many places he shines, so having at least this is definitely good. So as you know, they've changed forward slash to be a little bit more plus on block, and now it's +1 on block. So you are in advantage whenever you go for close slash. So what does this really mean? Well, you can do things like, you know, dash cancel into grab, or dash cancel into dash cancel, right? Or dash cancel into low mix, or dash cancel into like RC stuff, right? Etc. There's a lot of different routes you can go with here, but the real changes come from when they are not blocking. So let's see, let's go to the counter hit options. After recovery, let's set him to do like vapor thrust, right? Actually not send, right? After hit, yeah. Let's set him to do vapor thrust, right? Heavy vapor thrust. So now this is possible if you're trying to bait out certain DPs with Anji. You can just and just go into that. So 1 second. Yeah, sorry about that. Somebody just needed my attention for a second. So yeah, it's the dash canceling stuff. And just to show you, this can kind of be taken advantage at most places. You can do it for, you know, here's him doing EM vapor thrust. Still works. You just have to time it a little bit better. Okay, super better. Well, I did it once, and that's all I need to prove that it's possible. But yeah, realistically, other than that, his normal gameplay isn't that different. But if we were to go into the universal changes, like how they changed, you know, this and this, you have a little bit more options now, right? So jab counter hit and low kick counter hit are both confirms into Fujin, which is good, you know. It's pretty easy to match with Anji, so it's kind of good to have those options. Also, these are possible as well, in case you want to just get more damage. Well, like, things like this are still kind of rough. You can only do it into his command normal, so I guess you can do jab into forward P, which might be good in the corner. Yeah, okay, see, that could work. A little bit better. But the real gimmick is when you can do this. Now that doesn't look that effective, but realistically, if you know anything about Anji, like off of a counter hit, you can probably only get like that. And now that they took away Ko and it's heavy knockdown, it's pretty much not even worth going for something like this, right? Because usually you would have gone into the butterfly setup, but not anymore. So now you have this as an option on counter hit. The dash. Oops. And this is good if you're trying to push them like straight to like mid screen or to the corner, like as an example. corner. Instead of like, as opposed to this, where you have to like carry them all the way over there. If that has an advantage, I don't know, but at least this is some extra bit of damage in your combo, right? It also does give Anji an access to a meterless wall break, so usually it would have been like something like this, right? Or, whoops. But now you can do something like this if you want. In case you wanted like a faster one, because I know off of oh wait, no, off of this, I forgot what the combo was I was trying to do, to be honest, but whatever. But yeah, so realistically those are all the noticeable changes to his normals that I can find. It's not like he got too big of a buff, and obviously, you know, this bar slash is a really good poke tool now if you're willing to convert off it. But yeah, as far as his normal goes, it's not really too much of a fantastic change. I mean, definitely the dash cancel are appreciated, obviously, but you know, everybody can do them. So it's kind of, how much are they really appreciated? Yeah, they're definitely trying. Well, I mean, Anji's normals have never really felt bad, honestly. So I've never really thought they needed that hard of a buff. But yeah. Other than that, we should get into our next segment, which is probably going to be the special moves. All right. So to talk about Anji's special moves is kind of upsetting, but like I said, we're gonna start with the good. So, you know, things like heavy into this, or whoops, heavy into this are real if you're trying to get a lot more damage, right? That's a pretty good way to convert. It's also a lot better on block now, so now, I can't show you right now because I sent him to DP, but actually I guess I could. You know, the move comes out a lot faster, so you're a lot safer after throwing it. Probably throw here, I bet. Oh wow, you could. That's cool. So now obviously a lot of people are upset about this, the Nagiha change, and you know, it got reduced startup. And on top of that, everybody's completely upset, and rightly so, at the recent Fujin and Rin changes. Fujin is no longer a launcher, and Rin is no longer a launcher as well. Which I was kind of upset about at first, and now I might feel a little bit indifferent about it after seeing how easy it really is to hit people with Rin. So I'm gonna explain and show what you can do with the new potential. And definitely, after this, we're going to go into what they can do to make Anji a lot better. So, off of Rin, it's pretty much Anji is just a mix-up demon now. I mean, if you get a counter hit, right, you do get some cool stuff, right? Oop. Oop. Wow. You know what, it's something, you know, you do get a little bit of damage. You probably still have to meter to convert fully off of most things, but at least it's there as an option. Oh well, yeah, there you go. There's a meterless wall break off of just Rin. But it is still possible to get things off of Rin, but it being this fast is still really good buff. And you know, most people are just taking advantage of this. They're going for high-low mix-ups. You know, these are the simple ones. A lot of the time people wait and then go for this, or like wait and then go for this. It's getting better for his Fujin mix-up, and that's definitely what they want you to do with the character, right? But how can I say this and show this properly? It's only good if he has meter, right? So I'll guard. As an example, I guess I could just take off my meter, right? There we go. No meter. Well, Still negative on block, can have anything happen to me right there. A little less negative on block, so they have to be more reactive, which is great, but not that good. And this having a slower startup is just, I mean, they can see it coming a lot more, so it's just not as advantageous. And obviously the roll and, you know, not getting anything good off of it is just not even worth, right? Like, it could just be running into a grab or a DP or any of that stuff. And it's kind of upsetting because they also changed Ko and you don't have a heavy knockdown or anything like that. And they definitely, you know, kind of really wanted this to be a little bit nerfed, a little bit more reactable, which I understand. I feel like all of those changes in a nutshell make sense, but they don't really help for his gameplay. Like, it's, you know, as an example, right? I used to be able to combo off that convert just off of one more K, and now it's pretty impossible. Like, this Lotus combo just does not work anymore. And it's really upsetting, you know, they didn't need to take that stuff away from him. But, and here's a big but, I do think that he's not worse than he was before. I definitely think he's just as good as he was before. Just definitely feels like a different playstyle. Like, they really wanted it to be more mix heavy and everything, but it's not worth being mix heavy if nothing converts off of any meter. I mean, yeah, sure, this is a nice pressure tool. It's cool that that kind of converts now if you get a counter hit with it or just, you know, catch them. But even that, it's like, you know, what is the mid game here, right? Like, and then they usually backdash away. Like, if I could set him to backdash, let's see. Counter attack settings, recovery, backdash. Right, so like, what's even the point if they can just like backdash my farthest normal, right? Pretty consistently too. Like, yeah, now I have to guess now I have to play a guessing game with them. So definitely they hit his specials a lot more than they should have, and you know, it's rough, but if they really want you to play like this, then just try to take as good advantage as you can and just try to space out your mix-ups and try to make it a little bit harder for them to guess. I know that's a terrible tip and advice, but that's pretty much what Arxis aimed for us to want to do. Like, there's not much in terms of guard crush ability or just, you know, pressuring. There's not really good conversions off of not counter hit without meter. No easy ways to get heavy knockdowns other than just sacrificing damage, right? Because you can't do this anymore. So it's a lot of things. But we're gonna go into the segment of patches and stuff and what you can possibly do. I mean, by the way, I didn't even mention this. This is still possible, right? With meter. You can still do this. In case you want to, like... There we go. That was way too hard for me to get. Oop. So, you know, if you ever want this as an option. And realistically, the only thing you can do at this point, if you're not trying to go for these lows or highs, the best thing you can do is hope they don't know that you're coming for them and try to go for some good Oki. Alright, let's get into the buff section of the video. Alright, how could they buff Anji, right? So I have a couple of suggestions, and these might not be the most popular suggestions, but they're definitely something to consider. So, let's start with Ko, right? Immediately, should just have its heavy knockdown back. I don't know what... At the very least, give it its damage back. It didn't need to be reduced in terms of damage if they're just going to increase the damage value of anything in the game anyway. So, at the very least, raise its damage, and they definitely should consider giving it back its heavy knockdown, because Anji really has not too many ways into going a butterfly. You know, Gold Lewis is a perfect example of this. Gold Lewis can Behemoth Typhoon into most things, and go straight into, you know, Thunderbird. Or Kai can have pretty consistent routes, especially after DP and stuff, and just zap away. So they definitely need to reconsider giving his Kao like no heavy knockdown. So as for Nagiha, I think there's two things they should do for Nagiha. And let me just make sure that this is actually Nagiha so I don't seem like an idiot. Yep. So there's two things I think they need to do for Nagiha. Or they could do. Either give it some range so it can be a good useful neutral tool, right? Like imagine it had a little bit more range, you could just swipe Anji for the, or swipe Kai from there, right? As of right now, you kind of have to be in like character range. Even then, see, you can't, it doesn't hit right there. So it definitely could go a little bit further, right? If they wanted it to. Let me see if they did actually make it a better counter hit tool, so. Yep, so that's the next thing they should probably do, right? So if they don't want to give it more range, then they definitely have to give it like a better counter hit kind of reward, because going for this happens a lot, right? And this is just not the best. It's really hard to convert off this, so maybe give it like a level 2 counter instead of a level 1, like the jabs. Like I don't know if it really, it's a special move for Christ's sake. Like I don't know if a jab is really good enough considering he doesn't have too many good heavy starters anyway. So yeah, those are two things that I'd like to see. You know, imagine they can give it more range and have a little bit better counter hit system. One or the other I would be completely fine with. And let's go into, we're gonna do Rin last, by the way. So let's go into this. This should go way further, right? And possibly even faster. So as of right now, bam, we're back to neutral. I don't want to be back to neutral. I want to be back into their face, like into their face. Like there's a happy chaos there, or there's somebody trying to zone like an Axel and stuff, and they throw an accidental high. I want to go like and be already in there, at least into like some kind of range, right? They kind of did everything I wanted for them to do with this. They made it faster. What is it called? I want to see its exact name. Ishishiki. Yeah, so they did everything I wanted for the Ishishiki. It's a lot better than it used to be, and very good conversion tool if they get counter hit. But now, and this is a big but, I think it should hit airborne people, right? Because as of right now, it really does not. Oops. Go. Oh, okay, I just messed that up really badly. There we go. See, like, it'd be a lot better if it hit them while they were in the air. Because, see, things like that happen way too often. So if they're not willing to do that, then I definitely think they need to add a second projectile going a little bit more forward, like following it up from behind, like where it just landed, but maybe just a couple of spaces to the right. Just having an extra projectile would make it like a way better neutral tool, right? Imagine throwing two of them down side by side. It would make something better, like you could hop over other people's neutral tools and just throw down at them. It'd make it something more interesting, right? And now the last thing I think they should touch on is Rin. And how do I think they should touch on Rin? Well, honestly, I don't think they should give it a bounce anymore. Because realistically, I think that's asking for a lot. Even though he is the worst character in the game, he would become definitively, for a long time, one of the best characters in the game if Rin was a fast startup, low disadvantage, and like high damage thing, right? It's a high conversion tool. Having it convert off counter hit is kind of good enough as is, realistically. Now, what I think they need to do to make Rin better, give it a heavy knockdown, right? So we're all upset about Kao not having the butterfly, okay, right? Now, what if Rin had it? It's already doing the roll and tumble that Kai, like, just rolls out of, right? What if instead you just knock them down, then go into butterfly? It's even the spacing of it puts you perfectly aligned for you to not get hit. Or you can do butterfly Oki in the corner with the butterfly going into them, right? Because the biggest problem used to be, like, you'd never get butterfly Oki if it was in the corner. But if Rin is pushing you back, then yeah, sure, it could. And obviously, if that's the decision they want to make Rin a heavy knockdown into Oki tool, then I think they should make it more plus on block, not -9. Maybe like what is it right now? It's -9. It should be at least like -5, right? Maybe -4 or lower. Yeah, having a heavy knockdown would just be amazing. And if it's going to stay a heavy knockdown, then they should maybe increase the startup of it one last time for Rin to be like, oh, is he gonna go for Rin, or is he actually gonna go for Nagiha and convert? Is he trying to go for Oki, or is he trying to convert and get damage? And that makes the mix-up game even scarier for him, right? And that's what they kind of want. They want people to just be relying on Fujin's like mini options, so they have to make these better. And I think one way of making it better is adding an additional mind game of, oh, pause right there. Like, how can you pause at this? No, you can't. So like, pause right there. Oh, is he gonna go for a low and try to trip me up and try to get damage or reset me? Or is he trying to go for an overhead so he can get Oki and try to reset me? There's a lot of different things in that instance that a player might have to account for, and that just makes them go like this on their D-pad, right? And they just don't end up blocking. That's something I definitely think they can do right for Anji. Like, add a little bit of mix-up in his life. But yeah, as of right now, I definitely think in terms of other buffs, right, instead of buffing his specials, like, and if we were going to buff his normals, I actually think all of Anji's normals are completely fine. I think his jabs, his grabs and everything are fine. I love his JD, right? I think his jump H is great. Could be a little bit better, but jump K is good, jump P. But the only two moves I would like to see buffed are 6H and probably 2H, right? Yeah, 6H and 2H. Because these moves, man. So this is one of Anji's best starters, right? You can do a lot with this. Like, just off of this, you can go into the full damage conversion stuff. Or if you want, you can do like... Oh, whoops. I guess no, you can't. But off of, whoops. Off of counter hit, I know it's one of his best tools. Bam, right? Or like, just like the simple one, right? You know, it's pretty powerful. This, though, I don't even get the point of this move. It's hard to throw this move in neutral. It looks like a big hitbox, but they can just jump over you. And you don't really get too many things off this. Can't dash cancel it. Like, it's kind of a weird move. And, like, I know it's just to cover spacing and push you forward and stuff. But, like, man, what is the point of throwing this move out in neutral? I think this move definitely needs better neutral utility because there's just no point. I don't see Anji sitting here and just going like this. I see them forward slashing, butterflying, running, you know, dusting, maybe going into that. Never see an Anji do this. If you see an Anji do this, they are probably a new Anji player, right? Like, they don't know what they want. But, yeah. Honestly, as far as I know, those are, like, I guess as a wish list buff, make Butterfly come out faster and go. Actually, I don't want Butterfly to go faster. I just want it to come out faster. Yeah, just a faster startup for Butterfly, that'd be great. And then, yeah, realistically, other than that, I can't think of too many things they could do to make him better, right? I've always thought maybe spin should be burst safe, right? Oh, whoops. You know, like, it'd be pretty good if it was burst safe. And it would be rewarding too, but like, I don't know. That's something that they have to decide. Yeah. I think that should be all for this video. I hope I helped at least somebody or a couple people, you know, gain a couple of tips and tricks for Anji's like new playstyle or what they want you to do for him. And hopefully you guys could take advantage of all that stuff, because I've been doing alright in ranked, but definitely you can, when you verse a high level opponent, you can see where Anji truly starts to struggle, and it's bad. Like, he doesn't have that many tools. So hopefully Arxis will hear everybody's collective complaints, and, you know, next patch can just be an Anji dedicated patch probably. But yeah, other than that, I hope everybody has a fantastic day, and be sure to kill it out there in Guilty Gear, guys. Have a great day.